Thank you for choosing the Pulse. You're welcome back. Now, it's been nearly 4 years since the Attorney General commenced prosecution of the CEO of Menzgold, Nana Apia Mensah, popularly known as Nam1, who is accused of defrauding by false pretense and money laundering. It follows persistent agitation by angry customers whose investments have been locked up at the defunct gold dealership. A number of the investors have died from the shock of losing their life's savings to the investment firm. Now, other disappointed cash-strapped clients are currently battling medical conditions with no help in sight. Spokesperson for the aggrieved customers, Fred Forson, joins me in the studio for a discussion about the plight. All right, let's come into the studio. It's good to see you, Mr. Forson.
Yeah. Good.
All right, how was Christmas for you and your fellow Menzgold customers, victims? Which one do you prefer?
You know, I would say that Christmas was celebrated by Ghanaians minus Menzgold customers. I mean, that's why you don't need even any testimony from us, because for 4 years, your intro, those who have died, and the excruciating pain that we are going through. Just this morning, I was even engaging with some of the customers, and it's very serious. Yesterday, I was telling Fred that as a leader, not myself, the other leaders doing this fight with me, we have daily, weekly requests from our members to support them. And this Christmas, we have a lot of requests. I wish that maybe in the new year, somebody listening to me would even ask that, do you have somebody, any of your customers in need? Like, I will give you like 10 people. What to eat? Some of them are widows. Some of them have been ejected from their very homes. There is this lady that the husband was a customer. He died. And the in-laws have asked her to vacate the house. So there are a lot of them. School reopens, I think, next week. There are those whose children are going for the senior secondary, the SHS, and the continuing ones. Even what to get to enable them go back to school is a problem. And so, Kojo, I don't know why, after all this, the consistent, persistent agitations on the streets, government doesn't seem to empathize and even really come to terms with us. Like we were saying of the principle, I don't see why they don't want to come to the aid of Menzgold. Because our story is not a bad one. I always say that they should be able to separate the sins of the leaders or the management of Menzgold from that of the customers. Because we thought we were doing a good investment, and this has happened. And to even make our story real, just before we came to, for the holidays, we saw what happened at Databank. So that one too, whose fault? So we must all understand that it can happen to anybody.
Well, I mean, let's also be fair. In the case of Menzgold, there was over a year of warnings to you investors from the regulators, from government, from watchdogs. Everybody said, you guys, be careful. This thing cannot last. Pull out. You didn't. So can you really align yourselves with customers of Databank?
No, what I'm saying, I don't want us to waste much grammar on that, because we've had for 4 years, I'm sure we have had a lot of discussions about that. But all I'm looking at is that what happened to Menzgold can happen to anybody, irrespective of whether you are right in the sight of those who think we were wrong, or whether you were wrong in the sight of those who think that, or who thought that Menzgold was wrong. I'm only looking at it that it can happen to anybody. In fact, calamity affects both the good and the bad. But when it happens, how you are able to handle it. And in this case, our trump card is the fact that this is a democracy. And it's our understanding that a democracy must be able to deliver. It must be able to deliver good to its citizens. That is what is lacking in this Menzgold issue. Kojo, could you believe that before September, we petitioned the AG under RTI that before then we had gone to Yoko and we were told that the asset of Menzgold had been sold. So we went under RTI and asked for certain disclosures, specifically to disclose to us how much was realized from the sale of those assets. As I speak to you now, AG has not been able to tell us how much was realized from the sale of those vehicles.
How long ago did you make this request?
September.
Under the right to information?
Yes.
And they have not responded at all?
They wrote to us, after 1 month, they wrote to us and said that they were, the law said that if they were not in the position to give us immediate response, within 1 month, they had to come back and tell us that we are in the process of compiling the information that I requested for. Yes, that one they complied with it. But from September to date, this is just a simple sale of assets of Menzgold, asset belonging to Menzgold. And as we speak, to even tell us, oh, we had 1 million, or we had 2 million, or we had this, so that we'll have some comfort and know, okay, this amount has been realized in the name of Menzgold.
But just a moment, if you have not heard back from the Attorney General's office since September, does that not breach the right to information law?
I'm sure it's a breach. And we are in the holidays. We are thinking of the next line of action. Maybe when we resume, when we come back in January, we'll pursue that because we don't think that is right. That is one. We also petitioned the presidency in September. For the first time, the President of the Republic delegated a senior member to come for the petition. As we speak, we have not heard anything from them. And life keeps on deteriorating day in and day out. So it's very disheartening. It's like we are not part of Ghana. So as for the Christmas, dear Kojo, we didn't celebrate Christmas. It's only grace that is keeping us.
Now, the Attorney General's office is also prosecuting Menzgold for defrauding by false pretenses and money laundering. It's been 4 years. That case has not really progressed. How does that make you feel?
I'm sure you recall the disclosures by the Yoko boss. And from that time, true to her words, nothing has happened because the people who were in charge of the investigations said there isn't much to prosecute the gentleman about.
Let's be clear. I mean, the Yoko boss has clarified her statement. What she said was that there is a need for more laws so that when things like this happen, prosecution is easier. Because under the existing laws, it is difficult. I mean, she made that clarification.
I love the word, difficult. So difficult in prosecuting him. And the state wants us to put our faith in that prosecution. This one. Kojo, I want you to be our counsel today. If we were to rely on this prosecution, what would be your advice to us?
Actually, that was going to be my next question. That what are you hoping if this prosecution were to go ahead and be concluded and he were to be found guilty? What are you, as a Menzgold customer or victim? You haven't told me which one you prefer.
Even in the prosecution, we don't know the type of reliefs that the state is seeking. Whether
it's a criminal case.
It's going to lead to the retrieval of our money.
It's a criminal case.
If it's a criminal case,
retrieval is one of the options.
Good. If it's a criminal case, then it means that even when prosecution is secured, if they secure judgment, it will still come back to civil route that we need to go on these civil remedies that we are deploring.
Not necessarily. A judge could rule.
Okay. Okay. So that may be one of the reliefs or one of the things we may get from there. But for 4 years, like you said, over 100 and almost 200 people have died. Precious lives. The last one we buried was in October, Nanakisi. Very giant, energetic man died at 37 in my presence with another leader. And we are witnessing some of these things, and the state is doing nothing about it. We have spoken, as for this house, multimedia, right from day one. You have been with us. You have been with us. You have given us the opportunity. You have given us the platform every time, every day. And I'm sure the policymakers, they listen to it. Last, I made an appeal. And today I want to make it again. That you were a minister in this government. I want 2 or 3 of you to put your heads together and say to yourself that as for this Menzgold issue, we want to see to it that it is resolved. It should be a target. It should be something that, it should be a project that at least, so that we can remember you for. Because what we are doing, we are fighting for the very people who are in power today. So that the next time, your descendant will not come and fight a similar fight. That you go and do an investment in a company in Ghana. Then when such a calamity happens to you, the state will fold its arm and say that we have nothing to do with it. We don't think that is proper. And that is what we are fighting for. So we are not only fighting for today, we are fighting so that it will be a precedent, so that nobody will take the advantage of vulnerable people, scam them, present a scheme which was seen as a scheme, but later on turned out to be a scam, and that person will go scot-free. That is what we are fighting for. So it's not only our money. Yes, our money is the immediate result that we want, but it will be a precedent. That is what we are fighting for. So if you have power today, today you have power. Today you are in a position to help us get this financial freedom. I want you as a minister of state, be part of it. And the president of the republic, please, we are pleading with you. Show us compassion by ordering the payment of our money. We know you have the authority. We know you are able to do. It's within your powers. If you instruct the finance ministry or whoever is there to do it on our behalf, you can really do that because you have that power to do it.
Right. So it's been 4 years, at least since the prosecution began. But some of you actually gave your money to Menzgold more than 4 years ago. I wonder, after how many years will you and majority of your members feel like this is now water under the bridge and time to move on?
See, I keep on saying that we are not going to stop until our money is paid. So that one, we have made the state aware, whether in this life or in the next life to come.
Paid by who?
The state.
So you no longer are expecting your money back from the man who scammed you. You now want the state
for now,
to pay you for what he did.
I think I've said that, this one I've said it several times, that the very day government went to Menzgold and shut it down, the responsibility of paying the customers shifted from the company to government. That is why we're even pursuing the Attorney General under the RTR to disclose to us the asset in their possession and how much was realized from its sales. That is, but that one there is basic. It should be basic to all of us. All so right. For the man, because the man's bank accounts and everything has been frozen by the state. So even when you go to him, he will tell you, I don't have any accounts. I am bankless. I don't have any account to pay you from. Everything is with the state. That's why we are going to the state. And we believe that the state has that responsibility.
Right. Fred, before you leave, you still haven't told me, are you a Menzgold customer or a Menzgold victim?
I am both a customer and a victim. Could you? Why?
Well, okay. As things stand now, do you prefer for the world to see you as a customer, somebody who went to do business and, you know, have ended up out of pocket? Or are you a victim? Were you scammed?
I wouldn't say scammed because as we speak, there's no evidence that we were scammed unless the outcome of the court comes. And for 4 years. So that one, you know, that word may be a legal term. But what we know is that we were customers who went to Menzgold and our monies are locked up. That is why we are fighting for the release of the investment that were locked up. Until the court pronounces that we were scammed, then that will be another conversation that we can go into. But for now, we were customers who did investment in a company that was acknowledged by the state laws And yet, when this unfortunate incident happened, we are not hearing from the effort of the state. So I want to use this opportunity and appeal to my fellow customers that I know it's very difficult. Yesterday, our platforms, over 50 of them, there were a lot of lamentations and people were crying. Some people were calling me, want to give up. I want to urge you, life is more important. And there's a saying that though it tarries, it shall surely come to pass. I want you to hold your life together. Life is more important. As we go into the new year, we will continue to pursue our money, and we are very, very hopeful that we shall retrieve whatever is locked up.
Fred Forson, thank you very much for spending time with us this afternoon.
And I'm Fisher Part to you.
As much as it is possible, I hope you have a Merry Christmas.
Same to you.
All right.